You are now listening to the Let's Be Frank podcast.
I'm about to talk my shit. Huh?
On a girl basically talking about letting men's whose mothers are not married tell you like who's a good wifey for you. So basically the guy's mum, you know, guys' mums that are a bit involved in your relationship,
Right.
All up in there.
but they even married themselves. So they're telling their son that, oh, you're not a good girl, or you're not this, you're not that.
Wait, they were never married or they remarried?
No, they're never married. But they're telling you, oh, son, you shouldn't marry this girl, or you should marry this girl, or, you know, like, how do you guys feel about a mum having that involvement in the son's relationship when they, from what you can see, have never had a successful relationship?
It might be a one conversation, pillow talk when I'm with my guy and I say to him, look, you know, your mum, because nobody's perfect in this life anyway. My mum will give me advice on certain things and I take what I want from it. And then other times I think, well, mum, you're still, you know, my mum has been single for many years. And certain times she'll give me advice and I'll have to weigh up. I'll be like, you know, first of all, it's me calculating the risk myself. And then like, yeah, I'm going to say sometimes, mum, no, that's not the way. Because remember how you and my dad divorced and... Yeah, so you just have to pick and choose. You have to be sensible at the end of the day. Most times family is going to try and do it for your own good. But yeah.
Yeah. How do you...
Hopefully my mum will be sensible enough to not totally listen to his mum himself. He will be able to calculate that.
How do you guys feel about like controlling mums like in your relationship and that? Are you one of those people that involve parents in your relationships, or
No.
do you kind of just deal with shit yourself? Are you one of them people that ring down the mum begging for the son back and then...
No, I'm not doing all that.
It's good to have a good relationship, obviously.
like respectful.
But if it's where she doesn't need to know all our business, same way, it's the same I feel like with any outsiders in your relationship, they don't need to know everything. Because I feel like once you get an outside opinion, sometimes especially if you respect that person so much, like your mum or your dad, your opinion kind of shifts and you're not really doing what you want. Do you understand? I feel like no, I don't like that. Oh, my mum's. You gotta tell my mum. I told my mum we had a fight last night. All that's why.
Yeah, that's a bit too much. Bro.
Yeah, you know that's.
When you're young, you can make that mistake. It's happened, but
Yeah,
when you get older, you're gonna have to learn how to stand on your own.
Can't be with a man that can't even think for himself. Them ones that their boy will come up to them and them to.
But sometimes, you know, as the older generation, they have some points that you can take on board because
There's wisdom there, innit?
yeah.
But sometimes I think sometimes it's cultural. Like my cousin, she's single to date because her mum and auntie didn't like where her fiance then, where he was from in Nigeria. You understand? So they cut off the engagement, everything. And till now, she's not married. She hasn't, you understand? So I feel like sometimes, I don't know, maybe that experience is why I always feel like parents should really stay out of it. You know, if you look, and he's now remarried and had children and she's still single. Yes. So, yeah. So it's like, no, I don't know about outside. Sometimes, yeah, certain opinions.
Your mums? Do you guys listen to your parents?
My mum doesn't get involved because she knows what type of person I am. Like I'm quite like private in that aspect. Like I would never involve my mum in anything like to do with my relationship. Like
nothing at all?
No.
Okay.
Sometimes you need advice though.
Yeah, no, but I know she's there for it if I need it, but she knows what type of personality I am. So she wouldn't like overstep her mark. Like she wouldn't like be like, oh, what's going on? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, oh, what's wrong? What's wrong, DJ? Like, what's going on? Like, nah, like just allow me in it. That's the type of person I am. So yeah, it's obviously, I know there's some parents that they want to be in the relationship with you. Like there's some mad programs on like that you see this shit and you're like what the fuck? Like it's just crazy. Like the mum's literally like your girlfriend. Like it's mad.
Yeah.
Like and the girl can't even make the decision. I gotta ask the mum like if I can take you out. Like it's mad. It's crazy. So yeah. Frank, how about you?
Boy, my mum. If you know my mum, you know my mum, innit? Now my mum's cool, but to be fair, like she's only ever met one girlfriend. Like, and girls, my mum will tell you she can count the amount of girls like friends that she's met from me. So she kind of just leaves me to it. Like, she's never really been one of them exact. For me, like, speaking to me directly, she's got a lot to say. But she's not them in the middle. Like, she's not one of them mums that is just phoning the girl, phoning me, like, where's my son? Like, you know what I mean? And did you cook the jollof that I told you to cook? And you get me? Like, she's more like, cool, if I was dating a girl, that she'll teach her how to cook what she cooks for me. And essentially leave it to the girl to pattern me, innit? He's yours now. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank God, at least he's found someone that can... You understand? That's my mum, innit? But other than that, like I'm, again, like DJ, I'm pretty, not secretive, but I'm pretty private. So even with my mum, like, we don't... unless she hears about something that she feels her spirit is unsettled, she ain't got nothing to say, really. Unless
she had one of them intuitions at night, like, and she calls you in the morning.
Yami Lala. Francis, I had a dream last night. Are you all right? Where are you? Say, don't go out this weekend, though. Stay in your house. I'm like, Mom, allow me. I'm going shows. If you go, just be prayerful. Don't drink too much spicy drink.
Oh, your mom sounds like a G.
Spicy drink. These times she's necking my henny, you know.
Straight.
Yeah, straight. No, she dipped a bit of honey in it. She put a teaspoon of honey in there.
Yeah. Remember that post last week? I think we wanted to touch on it, but we never even got time last week. Last week the time just got eaten up like mad. Yeah. But the white brother that was talking about Black History Month in his car.
Oh, about why in there White History Month?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Saying,
I just feel like a lot of white people are ignorant sometimes.
Yeah?
Hey!
Like, I just feel like he really didn't
basically
know.
Just
I
saying,
don't think he was being
how
spiteful.
would you feel if I said, it's White History Month, or he said something else that, like,
ignorant.
Black people would say, but he said, what if I said, like...
This idea of reverse racism, this idea of reverse...
You saying I'm not racist, though. I'm not racist.
And to be honest...
I feel like...
Remember, DJ is conflicted, innit? So he's got to look at both sides of the coin, innit?
There's 11 other months in this...
Sometimes he'll be on the bus and he'll be thinking...
Calendar.
Yeah, what am I today? Definitely different situations where
there's 11 other months.
Then he'll be driving his car and be like, no, man, but white people, like... they don't rate us, man. They're hencher than us, like, you know...
I always say that British racism is just passive aggressive. They're not openly racist. I don't know how to explain it. They're just sometimes they don't like us, but I don't know.
Yeah.
A few, not all of them, but you know what I mean.
Sometimes in form of like questions that that
you know where they're coming from.
Yeah, like they're saying, you know, they're asking the question, but at the same time they're pissed off that you're even getting this time.
So
like,
what's
you're
that spicy rice like?
It's just so dumb. Oh, you cut your hair. You know it's a bob. This is not, it's a flipping wig. Why are you asking me if I cut my hair?
Imagine, someone they looking at my hair, and sometimes I really, really don't pay any attention to my hair. And the girl was telling me, she's like, oh, so how'd you get it like this?
So I tickled you, innit?
He said,
At least on that note, the person didn't touch the hair. I was in a bar and I walked past the girl the first time. She's not drunk yet. By the time she gets drunk and I've gone down half an hour later, she didn't even say words. All I saw was a hand and it went on my head. And she went,
Susie's head ain't massive, you know.
Your hair is so lovely. I didn't even know how to react. I was like,
the fuck?
You see the hand? Okay.
I even said thank you because I was so shocked in my spirit. I didn't know. I just said thank you and I ran down the stairs.
Audacity sometimes.
And then when I got in the bathroom cubicle, I was like, what the fuck? And it hit me. But like, yeah, they're just...
No, you see the thing is, in relation to what the guy was saying, I feel like for some people, I won't even limit it to white people. For some people, they don't understand the magnitude at which black people underwent racism and are still victims of that.
Facts.
History, in terms of black history, African history, for want of to be more specific, has been diluted through mass slavery, so on and so forth, stolen artifacts. The Queen has a lot of artifacts from
She has
Africa.
very simple.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they all have a story. They all come with something. So in schools, or from the schooling that I went through, the curriculum doesn't necessarily cater to the history of Black people. It will at some point may mention the Martin Luther Kings, the
Slavery.
maybe even the Marcus Garveys to some degree sometimes. The Malcolm X's, the more prominent.
Yeah.
You understand? The martyrs of
Do you know
Stand
when?
up
Black
like
movement.
Do you know when I realised that?
You know.
Do you know when I actually realised that they actually took the piss out of our history? Was when I was reading and I read about that Prince Leonard of Belgium. Like, basically, Black people, we went through our own Holocaust just the same way as Hitler, killed all those Jews. This man killed triple the amount in Congo. Like, they went through their own Holocaust. But I just realised, how come we didn't learn about that?
Over 1 million.
I grew up, I was a
people,
big 20-something-year-old before I learned about that. You understand? I feel like that should have been put straight up. The same way they want to crucify Hitler. This man did the same thing Hitler did. He just didn't do it to white Jews.
People, sorry, I just had to interject there. People in Congo know about the history of the Congo.
But the whole world doesn't.
But this is the thing. This is why you need to put shit into perspective. You're not living in the whole world. You're living in England.
I wasn't living in Germany. Why did I need to know what happened with the Jews in Germany?
Right. So do you know
because it
European
sparked the
history?
World War.
Yeah, facts. Okay, mate, you're right. Yeah,
do you know
facts.
European history?
Yeah,
So do you know majority of Europe are brothers and cousins?
yeah.
Right. So we all learn each other's history. The same way we learn Roman history. We learn the Roman Empire. We learn about the British Empire. I don't know how far you even learned about the Vikings, if I remember correctly. Do you know what I'm saying? That's parts of Scandinavia.
history.
And the where's this thing?
I feel if they could teach us about actual slavery that happened in Africa, they could have taught us about that as well. Do you understand? If they could teach us about that and what happened with the ships and everything,
the point I was making is just that it's like we need to wake up to the fact that it doesn't benefit a people to be taught something about themselves that empowers them. Like, if I was in power, do you get what I'm saying? Like, think about it like this, yeah. If the world, like, it's capitalism. If the world works a certain way, right? Now, if the powers that be know that if that shift comes into play, there's a potential risk to the hierarchy that is now. Yeah. Ideally, I'm not going to make it. I'm not just going to willy-nilly teach you about your history. It's down for you to either want to learn that or not. Especially if you're in my country. Remember, slavery is over a long time now. Now, let's not get into the whole,
I agree with that point.
systematic slavery,
I know
conditioned
this as well.
slavery, the racism that's going on behind closed doors.
That's why I said that I feel like Lucas reads deeper into what I'm saying.
Superficial. Do you get what I'm saying? But there's a lot that's going on that if you want to take responsibility for it, you have to first know who you are. Do you get what I'm saying? And a lot of us are still looking for knowledge based on what you're being taught. Do you get what I'm saying? Rather than seeking the knowledge. You know, there's like only there's. I don't know if I'm waffling to you, like I'm going deeper, but I was trying to explain it. There's only a few fundamentals you need from early life. Learn how to read, learn how to write, learn how to understand what's right, what's wrong, and that even itself comes from a bias. Yeah. Once you understand these things, yeah, things like TV, newspapers, the internet, blogs, they give you information, right? Our parents, grandparents, all of that, when they were growing up, they had to seek information. Do you get what I'm saying? If the information came, maybe it was one newspaper, one radio station. The rest had to be what was said in those environments, who was popping in that area. Do you know what I'm saying? Who was the guy in that area? Who was the major business mogul in that area? So it was more based on real life interaction as opposed to what can get lost in translation through communication. Do you get what I'm saying? Or have I lost you?
I'm trying to stay.
Right. So we're at a place where we're learning a bias that's taught to us from the syllabus of the British educational system. Okay. So when I even learned it recently, like it's like pluralism in which there's multiple, there's one destination, yeah? So we start from one point and we get to, there's another destination. But you're only taught one way to that destination when there could be 6-7 different ways to that destination. When you go to uni, you're only given a syllabus, you're taught a specific way. When you go to primary school, you're taught a specific way. It's almost like you're taught to be factory workers. Do you get what I'm saying? You wake up at time, you clock in, you clock out. Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas real life and the way life works, there are many different ways we could educate our people to be better in society. Same way with like black people. At this point, with the amount of wokeness we all have, the technology at our disposal, there's enough for us to be able to say, you know what, hang on, this is who I am. This is what's going on. This is what went on. This is how we can actually collectively change things. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, what I'm saying is, if it were that simple, as like you just said, and that's why I got into it, why don't we learn about Congo history? Why would they teach us Congo history in the UK? Why would they teach us Congo history in Europe? It's something they know that they did that was wrong. That's for starters. Secondly, the amount of the profit that was built up on the blood of that nation. Why would they? Do you get what I'm saying? The numbers, why would they? Of people that died.
So you're saying it's back to you like seeking the knowledge rather than...
It's down to you as
nowadays,
a people
I believe that.
seek the knowledge, create a pathway.
Because I feel half of the things I know now...
And then create a culture. We keep crossing over culture and tradition. And I do it a lot. Like British people have a culture. Welsh people have a culture. Do you get what I'm saying? Like old school Caribbean families in the 80s, 90s that come here had a culture, a specific type of culture. Do you get what I'm saying? And we need to remember that we need to go back to creating cultures, because the cultures are what creates the mindset. The mindset is what creates the people. The people from the mindset, the people now have purpose. We have a bunch of people that are just living with no purpose.
But you got to remember,
do you get what I'm saying?
Not
Like,
everyone...
individual's purpose and will doesn't aid or help the masses if we don't think collectively. So we can all scream out, yeah, I'm woke, and I get it. But if we don't have a single voice, you know that 5 fingers come together, make a fist? If we don't have that, okay.
Not everyone's willing to learn though. They don't even want to hear it.
Even back to what that guy said, because I even done something about this on my Snap. I'll be real with you, it's not my place to explain to you why there's a Black History Month. Like, we go through enough shit. We have enough shit that we're dealing with. Even Black History Month's going on now. I saw more shit go on for Pride. I'll put it on Snap today.
Facts.
Like zebra crossings and all that.
I put it literally,
No, they did a zebra crossing for us. Like, where was it? They did one.
Greenwich.
One. So
Like,
somewhere.
That's where
I saw face
Pride one
paints,
is.
I saw flags, I saw
Rainbow thing.
protests, I saw
They've
the
changed
works,
one.
I saw ads on my Snap, I saw it all. What Wagwan?
Can I say something though?
What?
Growing up, what Black History Month was when I was growing up was literally a month of non-stop homage to the black arts,
Creating things.
black crafts, you know what I mean? Black heritage. The menu changed. You were seeing, as going to a British Catholic school, to see jollof rice on the menu was like, raw, swear down.
You man had that.
Like, but this is what I'm saying.
From the
did
kids,
that,
bro.
though.
Yeah, then you'd have a class dedicated to looking at Black history. There were workshops where people came in, speakers came in and gave you poems and readings on stuff. And
To be honest, I think
educated.
they still happen in schools, but as adults, we don't see the activities that we can...
Live in this country and you can choose, innit? He doesn't have to have anything to do with Black History Month. That's his business. You don't want to do it, you don't know anything that's going on in Black History Month. If you want to get engaged and you want to say, look, out of the whole time, we never really celebrated in this country, and this month you want to celebrate it, then get involved. There's so much going on this month. Workshops, discussions, and
Where are
it's
the
really good to
workshops?
see. South Bank Centre's doing a lot of workshops. I'm
They
part
always
of a
do,
group
actually. Yeah.
on WhatsApp called Dope Black Women, and we always filter information in there. So there's a lot. That was just one to speak of, but
What I'm
there's a lot
saying
of
is,
stuff
how many people
that we're
would know
sharing.
about that?
I mean, if you sign up to these things, but it just depends on where your interests lie. South Bank's near my
Again, it's
house,
that seeking that knowledge, innit?
so I sign up to the
Remember
newsletters,
the point that I used,
and they send it
the
through.
thing that I used to make the point with this. We didn't need to seek no knowledge on Pride. I didn't need to go and sign up to anything for Pride. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, of course,
Yeah,
like,
just
that's
landed.
why I just
It's
advocate.
true, though.
Because they make noise, man.
But
Yeah, but why are we not making
But listen,
noise
we
as well?
make the most noise on social media, my G. Like we set and create shits for everybody. Like we're literally the foundation of every major thing that pops off from this internet age.
True, you know.
So
Deep it.
one thing that's meant to be bruv, I was so pissed off when I woke up this morning because I just thought to myself, wait, I've waited to just see. Because I'm somebody that I actually like to argue. Like, and I've been waiting a long time for all of this kind of stuff where people have been doing cool, two-way thing. Like, okay, this side does one thing. Yeah, okay, me too, I'm adapting, you know? I grew up a certain way, I grew up with certain beliefs, but you adapt. Life is about changing. Cool. If you do this for pride, I was part of it. I had a face paint as well. Woo! Why go on for Black History Month? What are you doing? Why is it not all over the subways? Why is it not on the TFLs, the buses? Why is it not in your face?
It's not their time.
Because
innit?
it's for me, it's like,
Yeah, there was some
like, you
banks
don't
that
rate,
even
you don't,
had that were
you
supporting
don't rate
the
the pain.
LGBT.
Barclays,
Like,
Barclays,
you don't rate the pain, you don't rate the work that guys are putting in now.
LBGT
Like,
sandwich or something.
Yeah,
bruv.
yeah.
Yeah,
like
The
fam, I
BLT
just,
thing.
you know what? Like, yeah, like, man, bruv, even my sandwich was even rainbow color. What?
Yeah. The
Back
bank
tip.
thing shocked me because you're a bank, bruv. You don't need to bow down to nobody.
No, but that's
But
what
you're really making a point that
Yeah,
you
but
want to support.
listen,
they want them to sign up,
LGBT
innit?
money there, innit?
LGBTQ shut down the whole of the West End, my G. Have you heard it before?
Yeah.
Dog. Have you ever heard of that in your life? Do you know how many businesses got shut down that day?
And they make money.
But 400 years of suppression, slavery, lack of education, lack of resources, lack of opportunities, classic condition of your mindset to believe. Even a guy said something today. People don't understand how deep certain things are, but fuck it. A guy said something today, yeah, like, fam, when you're fighting for your next meal, you know, to see the next, like, you don't think about opportunities to better your life. You don't think about trying to, you
Create
don't
wealth.
have that privilege to be able to create. You're trying to survive. And for you to now say, okay, well, why don't we have a white history month? Like, I don't get it. And you know what, bro? I'm not here to explain it to you, my guy.
Yeah.
It's just happening, innit?
But he needs to
Like, brother, like,
system
go find it out, innit? Like,
in place
that's on you, innit?
is for him.
Like,
The
Honestly.
system in place is not. And
don't
it's
ever feel
never
like you
been
need to explain it to these people, bro.
for the brown
I'm so sorry.
people.
And it's not like it's a us and a them thing, but it's in this context, my G, like, I'm not your teacher. Yeah. For a long time, my ancestors were slaves and you were masters. So why am I coming to explain to you why you are in a position of privilege? There's 400 years of fucking history. Bruv, you know Hitler inside that. Suck your mum, blood. Suck her. That's ignorance of the highest. Like, for me, that's, you know, them that you can't even engage it. It's like, brother, just go sit down, man. It's cool, bruv.
Yeah,
It's all right, man.
We don't need you to get it.
Like, bruv,
Honestly.
you don't need
I
to,
think
bruv.
the
And I think a lot of them
basic thing
don't
is
get
it's
it and they
frustrating.
don't want to get it. They actually do not want to get it.
But this is the thing. I can understand if you don't. I'm just saying, it's not. I can't be bothered to explain it to you. Go find out. It's not for us to explain it to you. We still need to educate ourselves. There's so much shit we need to do for
it's going
ourselves.
on, yeah, like,
my G, what the
like,
fuck am I
man,
talking to you about it for? Fuck off. Like, I get it. There's some people that live in Dudley, live in Bournemouth. They're not around the amount of black people that live in London. And the interaction is not the same. And they don't know that your hair is funny. They probably seen one black person every 4 years come through.
No, it's
Do you get what I'm saying?
true,
Like,
though.
it's actually vast parts of the country are like that.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So
It's like the point
I
that you
don't- I
made.
don't
This
blame
ain't,
you.
This ain't a black country.
it's not your
It's an
country, bro.
Englishman's
You was brought
country.
here.
Yeah, we're like
But at the same
4%.
time-
We make up 4% of the population or something, innit?
If you can show me a black Englishman, I'll eat my hat.
But and that's
I
the
am.
thing. And that's the thing. Like, I think I said this to you last week. Like,
All right, Monty.
I was watching this thing on Netflix. Yeah, it's called the Arthur Cathedrals or something like that. It's a Japanese film. A lot of my stuff with history come from like remakes of like historical films and stuff and reading. But this one was very, very insightful because it was about Japanese history and how they like literally is it Japanese or Chinese? One or two. Sorry, forgive me if I get it wrong.
Asian.
But yeah, he basically broke down all the tribes. So he brought all the tribes and formed one mega city. And then he now passed a law. And before he passed the law, his son said to him, he said, the best way to own a people, you know, colonize a people, is to lose their identity. You change and make that person lose their identity, they won't know who they are. You don't know where you're starting from.
True.
You've got nothing to trace back. So you have to go from wherever it is you've been told you are at that point. Or, you know, to what you remember last or what you taught last. Do you get what I'm saying? So, i.e., I'll use my culture, for example. We have Nigeria. Nigeria was multiple different tribes. We're Yoruba land. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, Yoruba land has now been part of 3 other tribes, or you're Benin, everywhere, to form this Nigeria. Yeah? Whereas there's parts of Nigeria that is more and very culturally situated to Chad. They're more culturally inclined. They're more similar people. They're actually the same peoples. But because of the colonialism, Chad is there. You have Hausa. Or Cameroon is there. You have the Fulani Hausa. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, for me, there's too much demigration. That the geography that we see now, for me, is what makes us lose our identity.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if we don't have the, even like as early as things like Bombay. Who remembers Bombay? Bombay is now Mumbai. Like, if you remember the old Yugoslavia, like Serbia, Montenegro, like all these things that change, Zaire from to Congo. Do you get what I'm saying? Zimbabwe was what was it called before?
But all those were like in-house beef though, no? A lot of those changes came from civil wars.
No, but those changes came before the civil war. Yeah, was them getting identity of, okay, I'm getting my independence. But remember, even the ones that fought for their independence, they still had to pay a fee for your independence. No one just got
They're still
independence
paying
free.
though.
Why would you change your name from Zaire? Remember, Congo is not an English-speaking country, so why would you go from Zaire to Congo? What the fuck does Congo mean?
When did that other way around? Republic of Congo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They changed it to Zaire.
Yeah.
No,
it was
it's
Zaire.
Congo now.
Oh,
it was Zaire
Congo.
before.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? Even Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast was Côte d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
Oh, we still not Côte d'Ivoire?
Obviously,
I didn't know
you
that.
Like, but it's Ivory Coast.
Oh,
What the hell is Ivory Coast? What's Ivory Coast? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, what is Ivory Coast, bro?
It's the coast of Ivory.
Fam,
Elephants
my
was-
thing is,
where the
even
elephants
the
was.
language. English allows you to lose track of certain things
Facts.
because
That's
it's a translation.
That you're changing.
Do you get what I'm saying? You're
Changing the
changing
meaning.
it.
You're not
And it
saying
might
it
not
how
mean
it
the
is.
same thing. That's why I always say, when I speak Yoruba, I can hit exactly what I'm trying to say.
because it's more
The
painful.
feeling,
way.
the impact, the everything.
Oof.
Do you get what I'm saying? But when I speak English, yes, I can hit the nail on the head. But Omar,
It sounds
to be
a
honest
bit
with you,
more-
you even need to know your little keywords in different aspects. So if you're a business person, you have business words. If you're an IT guy, you come with IT words. Do you get what I'm saying? Your lingo is different. I'm not here for all of that. My understanding is down to feeling. Do you get what I'm saying? Down to experience. It's real life. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I just base my shit based on real shit that's happened and real history, and not stuff that is just being taught to me or being said to me. Do you get what I'm saying? Even when we're talking about Black history, bruv, you're getting taught American history, American Black history, American
That's even
uproar.
true though.
That's not Black history.
That is.
Do you get what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
a lot of my knowledge on Black
Like-
history came from, I used to go to Afro-Caribbean Saturday school. So majority of my teachings were Black, historically, you know what I mean? Like,
You would argue-
that's
you
where
could
that's
argue
the
things
origin
got
of
worse.
majority of my teachings. So I was put up on not just the Martin Luther Kings and the Malcolm X's, but I learned about the Harriet Tubmans and the Marcus Garveys and the Underground Railroads and the first
That's still
girl to
Americans.
the first girl.
That's still uproar. That's still.
But what you got to remember is
Do you learn
in
about
England.
Songo?
No, but what you got to remember is remember the country. Remember the country we're in. Remember the country we're in. I remember where a lot of the backdated histories on Black people kind of are.
No, slightly,
remember
we should have nothing to do with America.
No, but
Black
remember,
history here is very, very
no,
into
but
its
what
own.
we're-
It's
no,
more
what we're talking
Caribbean.
about-
They
but what
actually
we're
do
talking
have
about-
Black
no.
history here.
But what
Very
we're talking about,
Caribbean,
no,
you know.
what we're
It's
talking
got nothing
about
to do
is
with them, look.
the fact that, okay, cool.
Like that
From
anyway.
the jump from Africa, majority of the movement from Africa was to the Americans. Yeah? This is why a lot of those teachings come back from America. Like the trace back. We can talk about, like I guarantee you,
But do you know there's
kids in Nigeria that know a lot more about Nigerian history than they know about American history, American Black history.
Yeah.
It's just that what you're talking about, like again, remember the size of England as a UK, United Kingdom, we're very small in comparison to a lot of other countries.
Do you know
major countries? It's just that England was they were the dominant force in those times.
England never used this country as a base. So in actual fact, they never really had that many slaves back here.
It's true. They were just colonizers.
They never had slaves like that.
That's true.
The slaves were more in the Americans.
The black people that were here were more educated. People need to really cleaner cut.
Yeah,
the freemen.
The guy breaks down. I think, in my opinion, like Black history from, I'll say, like the early 80s in this country. Like, if you was born here and you're from, cultural backgrounds, i.e. Caribbean, Africa, like he really breaks down the history and how things really came about. Do you get what I'm saying? From his perspective as well, obviously. But I think it's proper insightful because a lot of what happened here wasn't in your face. So if you notice, if you see, and he was explaining in the book, if you notice when people were talking about racism, a lot of British white people, they don't, it's like, bruv, what do you mean? It's like foreign to them. Like a lot of people don't understand, like, it's like, bruv, well, that they can't really understand it in its entirety like the Americans can. Because the Americans, they had rebellions, they had actual physical head-on collisions with this shit. Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas Britain was sort of sheltered with it. Because this was the hub, it was almost like, well, we'll do our fuckery everywhere else, but we won't shit our own doorstep sort of thing. So our history is a lot shorter, but a lot more direct. So you have a lot more people that were from the Caribbean islands that came here. They know where they're from in terms of the Caribbean islands. Do you get what I'm saying? The people that were from Nigeria, Ghana, they know. That's why in this country you don't have the saying Black British.
Yeah.
In America, you have Black American because a lot of people that went there,
African
there's
American,
no trace where they came from.
True.
Do you understand? So the history, as much as yes, is similar, the intensity and the impact is very different. Ours is very, very subtle, underlining, not in your face. It's more behind your back racism. Whereas over there is what you see is what you get. Now over there, they are more advanced stage, in my opinion, in the sense that the devil the devil you can fight.
Yeah.
What I know is affecting me, I can deal with.
Yeah.
What I don't know is killing me, I can't deal with. We're fucked.
I've been saying that.
One thing I will say in relation to that. One thing I will say,
there's nothing going on there.
Like Americans, there's a level of ignorance that tops what you're saying. So in the sense that it's not necessarily about the devil. It's not necessarily about the devil you know is the devil that you can deal with easier.
Yeah.
Some just from my experience of being
Have you been in America? Has anyone been in America?
Yeah. From my
don't you think even black? Sorry to cut you off. Don't you think even Black Americans sometimes don't even act like black people? That they're so ignorant as well. Like
I explained, remember they're Black Americans. We have a culture, like even if you're Caribbean, wherever you have a cultural bias
background
when you come, even when you're born here. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas they don't have that bias. They literally have survival. Do you know what I'm saying? So they're set different. There's only a certain way they can see things because and that's why when they're talking about hardship and whatnot, they can't believe that we're going through the same things.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's very much in their face. Even a lot of the stuff they face over there, where sometimes, if not because of social media, their justice system, we're like, bruv, can that be happening? Are you mad?
To be fair, in a sense, we were not shielded from it. But you're right. We didn't suffer. We didn't.
The racism was
openly.
different.
We didn't openly have to suffer what they suffered.
Yeah.
And that's because partially,
And we're still not, to be honest, kinda.
Remember England set the pace on freeing
I don't want
slaves.
you to say it and make it seem like we're
freeing
diminishing
slaves.
what the seriousness we're getting here.
No, not
because
at all,
psychological
not at all.
conditioning
We're
is far
talking
worse than getting classically conditioned.
Yeah, we're talking
whatever.
about the effects that it's had and the way it was implemented and so on and so forth. So like I was saying, the Americans suffered it completely different because essentially they were taken there to set up shop, to start a new world.
They're taking it to work.
You understand? They were there to set up and start a new world for whoever else.
Yeah.
Columbus
Cool.
and them, man.
Us over here.
The colonizers.
You got the English, but this is the unfortunate benefit that we've got being here and not being in America is England were one of the first to abolish slavery. They were one of the first to abolish slavery from the Europeans.
What slavery can you abolish if there's not really much slavery like that going on?
Because they were the ones
here?
responsible for getting the slaves to America.
Of course.
So at the point when somewhere I'll research it. We can come back.
Rebellion
to it.
is what abolished slavery.
It started off with England. England wrote a letter to America and said, "Listen, this, that, and the other. We're stopping this nonsense. It's gone too far. Too many lives have been lost. It's creating outrage. It's creating rebellions. It's creating the rebellions."
What did America say?
The South of America said, "Fuck
What
off."
did both of them? Before
The South of America said, "Get lost. We're keeping our gollywogs. They're working hard for us, and we ain't. Do you expect me to jump on a cotton farm with my son? me and young Master Davy?
so
Never.
true.
Then the North, because that's who
Canada
was more in contact with the Brits. They was like, no. Do you know what
segregation.
There's this new breed of black man who's polished and accomplished and intelligent and let's embrace him. And yes, it is wrong. What we're doing, there were all these activists and these human rights fighters that wanted to fight white people amongst them, that wanted to fight for the freedom of black people. And they started that in motion. Like I said, the South refused. They weren't having it. Like, fuck off. That's what created the American Civil War. A lot of people don't understand how the American Civil War started. And it started because of the abolishment of slavery. The South didn't want to get rid of their slaves.
How did the abolishment?
The North said, listen, the king from England, from over there, he's written us, said, listen, he's not sending, like,
I didn't know that. I'm going to go read that. I'm going to go read it. I didn't even know that.
The North got a letter from England saying, listen, this slavery thing's done. Like, let's squash it. The North obviously writ to the South, said, yeah, you man, listen, we're freeing our guys up here. That's why if you look at a lot of historical slave or movies, people in the South were always trying to get to the North. Because that was safe haven for them. Those were the safe lands. Do you get me? Now, bringing it back to current day, the ignorance from that is like the generations that have grown on American soil. So from being in the Caribbeans where you're being broken as slaves and made slaves and your will has been stripped of you, your identity's been stripped, to now being placed in Texas or Colorado or wherever and starting a fresh life there. Now imagine escaping from the South after being stripped of all your identity. You've gone up north, now, they give you a few shillings here and there.
But what am I really?
But who are you?
And half of your family is gone, they've been split up.
Who you are is the son of a slave. Who was your father? My father was a slave. So who was his father? His father was a slave. Who was his father? His father was Bubba Gump that worked on Master whatever's slave plantation. Us over here, the difference between us and them, and that's from seeing it and speaking to them, is that, well, a lot of us that are in this country, our parents came from our homeland. So we're first, second generation Brits. We're not lost in translation like, rah. Like when some Americans find out where they're from in Africa, they're so excited. Like, oh my God, I'm Ghanaian, man. Like, my name's Boateng. Boateng, you know what I'm saying?
Up, though. You gotta remember how, like, America. It's because we're going with a lot of information trying to explain something that you need the right information for. So it's hard to explain. Britain essentially created America, from what I remember. Yeah. Now,
Master David Smith.
The slaves that were in America, date further back to Quay. So you're talking a good 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 generations. Yeah. In this country, you didn't even have slaves. You had people that came to work.
Yeah.
So that they were actually British subjects. Yeah. The influence that the British Empire had with regards to slavery was mainly with regards to India. Hence why you have majority of the people in this British country here that were Asian. You with me? The Americans was mainly the Caribbean islands. From if I'm not, misquoting shit here. Now, the reason why for me and what I was explaining before you came in was the reason why, yes, the racism is as intense on both sides, but it's almost like we're fighting a losing battle because we don't know what we're up against yet.
Yeah.
It's because they've directly fought. If you don't have no identity, you don't know where you are from, and you're being suppressed, you've got nothing to seek shelter in. Do you get what I'm saying? Everything you're battling is exactly what's within your environment. There's no I'm from Nigeria anyway, fuck it. Do you get? So you have the Malcolm X's, the people that fought for the rights for them to bear in mind as well, in America, they have the rights to bear arms. Do you get what I'm saying? So the implications and the dangers that surrounded them are more direct. This country, and this is why I said, I think we're fighting a far more worse situation. Our police force don't carry guns. We have people that can seek refuge in places that they know they're from. So no matter how much you're facing, whatever you're facing in this country, you can turn around and go, well, fuck it, I'm not doing
Lagos.
Oh, fuck it, I'm going Ghana.
There you go.
Do you get what I'm saying?
There you go.
And this is why I said
you're fighting.
The American
Where you
freedom
going
to
to unless you know where you are?
Dave Chappelle said this as well, and this that resonated with me. The reason why the Americans are going to eventually still win is because they're a fist. Black America is a fist. Do you understand what I'm saying? They know how to unite and point a hole. Even Chicago, you see, and that's the thing, they've proven it. Do you know what I'm saying? When shit really gets cracking, they will all come together and they will set pace. And on top of it, if you look at their entertainment industry, or a lot of the people that are in the entertainment industry are pioneering stuff now. Do you get what I'm saying? We're slowly coming to that because remember, prior to the last 5 years, there was no British black culture. The rest of the world never thought that existed.
That's true, you know.
Do you get what I'm saying to you?
And it was always Africans versus Jamaicans.
Before, who was at gigs? Who were these people? All these fans never rated them. Who's Lethal B? But now, music mogul, label owners, the truth. People in this country, fickle. My biggest thing and what I was trying to allude to is that we need to go back to forming that culture, like using SM1 as an example. That's a team of people that when they came out, you viewed them a particular type of way. They stuck to their truth, they stuck to who they were, they stuck to where they were from. And now they're reaping the benefits of what, their label is. They're pioneering in terms of gigs. Do you get what I'm saying? The people that have come from behind him, I think his brother's got jewelry shop, hustleism just opened recently. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, even now they're doing it with the drill artists. Do you get what I'm saying? These are the voices. These are the reflections of our black communities. Do you get what I'm saying? No, even in times of need, the first people that came up to make the voices heard, they weren't scholars and people with master's degrees. Do you get what I'm saying? There are people willing to fight. Put down. You know what I'm saying? Literally, I'm ready to fight and believe in this cause. Do you get what I'm saying? So, essentially, what I'm alluding to is, in this country, we're so far behind that we're still stuck up our own asses thinking that racism is not how it is everywhere else in the world. And for some reason,
but is
Britain...
that because it's not?
It definitely is.
It is because, like I keep saying, they're more... They're quite... They're fake with it. You don't even know that there's racism going on. I feel... That's why I don't know. I know like they're not mad. All, but that's why I feel maybe if we want to use that sensitive word, I'm saying, because I feel like they all are and we just don't know. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
But I don't know. Again, like the question that I'm asking,
because they weren't rightly. In America, they'll come and say, "Fuck you, nigga. Fuck you. I wish you dead, nigga."
Do you know what
they're not gonna say that.
Just because just because our environment is conducive for us and it creates a sense of privilege, and I know we don't look at it as privilege, doesn't mean that the shit is still left. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's only when a prominent figure in society goes through a basic situation in this country, and then all of a sudden, the MP that was whatever was drinking a JD on the train. All of a sudden, Diana Abbott's, the worst person on the planet. How can she be doing that? Right there. What? These lot sniff coke in the fucking toilets. Do you get what I'm saying? It's a mentality thing. Now, yes, but police don't go out and kill.
Do you believe that as a people, we are ever so slightly more privileged than the Americans?
Yeah.
As a people, black culturally.
It depends on how you depict
privilege for now.
In the sense
we're
that
privileged in the sense that majority of us in this country, it's a smaller country, so things are better in this country than they are in America in general.
Except,
do you get what I'm saying? So now, am I gonna say that it's like saying, oh well, do people in Dubai feel guilty for how they live in Dubai? Dubai is fucking lit. It's lit. It's nice. It's a new country. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I can't equate the two like that, because
no, I think Dubai is the worst.
The suffering.
That's not good. That's not.
I'm talking about the country as a whole. You can't use we're not talking about the culturally or whatever your views are on it. I'm talking about the infrastructure of the country, the way it is, the way it runs. Beautiful country, fantastic resources are phenomenal. But essentially, what I'm saying, before I even lose my fucking point now, what did you even ask?
Like, are we ever so, even if it's ever so slightly, are we not more privileged as a black people than the Americans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I would say no, we're not. In the sense that
for now we are.
With the Americans, they're churning out more and more pioneers by the day.
I would say we are.
Do you get what I'm saying?
They have more.
We're privileged, supposedly. What are we doing in this country? Name one.
Okay,
black. Black. Name one that's not in entertainment
or in sports.
Black major FTSE 100 or do you know what I'm saying? Whatever stock exchange. One company that is creates thousands of jobs for people.
Packs. I'm joking.
Do you get what I'm saying?
It's true though.
Like, what are we doing? If you go to America, they can reel them.
See, no, but this is the thing. This is the debate that I have with people even within the music industry as well. Like, it's just that on a whole, like you've pointed out, America's catastrophic. Like, it's majorly bigger than Britain. Do you know what I mean? America is not a country; it is a continent. You have South and North America. Within those continents, you have.
United States is a country, bro. Let's not complicate this shit. We're talking about the United States. We're not talking about South America.
No, I know, but I'm saying even within the United States, it's a continent. It's North America. Do you get what I'm saying? When you break down the states, Minnesota, New York, whatever, blah, 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 cool,
okay. Maybe I'm learning something today. You're confusing me. What are you classifying as North America?
Okay, North America is...
Is it not Canada?
The United States is in North America.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So North America is the continent where United States, Canada...
the North Americans.
Is it Australia even?
No, Australia, America.
Alaska, you mean?
Austria? No,
they're not that far apart, my G.
No, but
maybe
no, I know. Haiti again, North America,
Burundi.
Haiti's even supposed to be part of the Caribbeans. It's meant to be part of the Caribbeans, but it's just ever so slightly closer to
I'm
the North. Again, so that argument, I feel not flawed, but there's a contradiction because America's so much more bigger. You understand? So you have, and remember, the separatism here is England is England, like it is an Englishman's country. America is a compilation of different cultures, different people. You understand? Remember, America's got the Europeans in there. It's got Spain, it's got France, it's got England, it's got the Dutch. Yeah, it's got mixtures. It's got mixtures in there. But remember, America
was like that.
America land. Yeah, America land is Pocahontas in them. That's America land.
Okay, but then we're taking that off.
Cool. No, just sorry to go backwards to come forward.
The Europeans, like France, Germany, Italy, the Europeans moved into America. The Europeans were under the British Empire.
things.
Yes.
There was Eurasia, and there was the British Empire.
What's Eurasia?
So Eurasia was the Spains, the Hollands, and Frances, and them. They were the Euro.
To my knowledge, they were all under the British Empire.
They were the Europeans. No, there was a separatism. So there was the Spanish Inquisition, the Spanish Empire, the British Empire. I think France had their own empire.
Yeah, because that's how they could colonize.
Yeah, and I think the Dutch as well. So that's why if you look at some of the coastal countries amongst America, so the Haitis were heavily colonized by the French. The part of the Miamis, all those Spanish, those Latino countries, those Latino ends in America colonized by the Spaniards and so on and so forth. Like, you get me? So you kind of Suriname, South America, Dutch-speaking country. They were colonized by the Dutch, the Dutchmen. Do you know what I mean? So, in a sense, the Americas, again, like you're saying, like Europe, is a compilation of different cultures. But the difference is they were taken there as slaves and created a new society. Whereas us in England, we are following the Englishman's footprint. Do you get what I'm saying? The blacks that came here with an education or for an education.
Black Caribbean people create their own society. Asian people create their own societies. It's their children. And that's why I keep trying to tell you. Like, it's not like, let's not label what was not against
But again, remember, they're coming
them.
directly here from their countries.
But you just said they didn't create these communities that the Americans did. They did.
No. Don't mistake what I'm saying. No, I said America was a compilation of
I get
cultures
that,
and stuff. England, sticking with not Europe, England
was the combination of France, Germany, Greece. Yes, your queen has got three different
stolen stuff. Yes, stolen stuff. Yes.
What do you mean stolen?
No,
I'm talking they're interbred.
No, because it's interbred. Because remember, the Vikings came from somewhere else.
Queen Victoria
Romans
was
tried
like the cousin of the Spanish king. Like they were all
This is where you lot history lessons will actually show in it.
Yeah,
go on. Let's hear it.
But it's true.
They were
I can't
interbred.
remember
The Spanish-
that. When it
I'm not
comes
saying
to
they weren't. I'm not saying
the
they
French,
weren't.
the Spanish, and the English. For a fact, I know they were all interbred. Yeah, even the Italian was going
this
as
queen
far
marrying
as
that king,
even as going as far as the Medici with the Italians. Like they all intermarried and whatnot. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, it's too broad for us to try and we're not historians, so that's why keep saying the Europeans went into America because I don't know what demographic or what part of Europe or do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. The Europeans went into America at that time. The British had the main sort of say so in that time.
Yeah, I believe that as well.
That was the main
remember,
empire.
They said that. So I don't know where I heard it, or I don't know whether it was a film I watched, but apparently real British people, like they have ginger hair, they're ginger.
The Englishmen, yeah, but
real Englishmen are actually ginger.
I think that's more even Scottish people.
Oh,
is it?
Irish even.
I think that was Scottish people.
But that's from like that whole Viking.
Yeah, the old Viking shit, innit?
Ancestral.
Yeah.
You know.
But
lineage.
to I like I said, I think we're worse off, and it's not because I think you won't notice it because it's not a physical.
Yeah.
No, but
racism here is not in your face every day.
Yeah, but that's
like in America, I think like something always happens.
It's not to.
I've not experienced. As in, someone ever calling me a nigger or being blatant, like
Frank,
straight up racist to me in this country.
The physical.
Have you lived in London your whole life?
Yeah, I've seen passive from work.
That definitely makes a difference.
True.
Like what?
See, London is that hub of multiculturalism. You know what I mean? It's the people in the
and you know what?
It's true. If you go up,
it creates a crazy bias here for a lot of black people. Like you live in this bubble thinking that London is the picture of the rest of the country,
and it's not.
Like, my G,
it's really not.
Majority of the parts of this country don't know who the fuck you are. They don't even know how your mannerisms are, my G.
Yeah.
And the only reason why you don't think it's as worse is because our police don't carry guns. And the reason why I'm telling you it's worse is because they actually don't carry guns. And we're still battling racism on a different scale. In a way where it's designed for you not to even notice it. And that is a worse off situation to be in than actually seeing it.
I've always
firsthand. If I can physically fight something or physically see the implication of what you're doing to me, I can deal with it.
If I can't,
do you know what I'm saying? If I can't see it to deal with it, like even we're having an argument now. Do you know what I'm saying? So how do we even begin to start having an organization to
Exactly.
fight the movements for, equal rights and jobs? The way we want to educate kids, the way we want our kids to be to still hold on to their culture, be it Caribbean culture, be it African culture. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm passionate about understanding where the fuck you're from, and that's the first basis. If you can know where you're from, that you know where you're going. Like,
Facts.
And that for me to plug myself, I'm doing something on Snapchat. I am Lucas Walker, called the Lucas Walker Black Origins, and it's send me a post or video talking about your culture, fun facts about your culture, and any bits of information you want to add in there. By the end of Black History Month, come to the end of the month, I'm going to try and correlate all the data together and come up with a piece. So feel free to send that to me as
seeking
well.
the information.
Yeah.
And it's real information.
Yeah.
It's your culture from how you've lived it from when you was born.
Yeah, your perspective.
Your bias.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know a hell of a lot about Nigerian culture, Yoruba culture, Ife. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, if I talk to you about it, you now know more firsthand.
Then I could
If you
teach
talk to
someone
me,
else.
you know what I'm saying? And we know
I like that idea. That makes sense. Because I think a lot
no
of
one's
black
gonna
people
teach you your history. No one's gonna teach you who you are. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's true.
And there's so much we all know as individuals, but we just don't know how to share it.
Yeah.
To come together. No, I hear that. Well, anyway, that topic just,
It took the next. We went so off topic, Rebecca.
It went so deep, like from that brother in the car.
Oh, it was the brother in the car this time.
Yeah.
But you know what? I feel like those things are important.
No, they
to
are,
start
100%.
Conversation.
And
trust.
And not everything should be taken negatively. He asked a question. He didn't make a statement. He wasn't pushing an issue. He asked a question. He said, what would you say if I said, let's have a White History Month?
So it's White History all year round. Let us have 1 month, please. Thank you.
Look at where it's pushed us in terms of debating and conversation. It's made us look at our own history a little bit deeper.
and tell you why. There's not a White History Month.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, for my man anyway, like fam, fuck you, man, don't care. Like, go and research it. It's not man.
Do you know, I wish we could do all them things they do in America. I don't know how, I just feel, I know we can, but it's just obstacles. You know the way they create their own schools for black people and all that.
Country,
No, but you
get
can
away
do.
with in America.
I know.
You can though. It's just no one.
You can't
has
get away with
chosen-
half of it.
No one has chosen.
Because I feel like
so
Lucas said, a lot of people don't seek information. They don't seek, once they see something on Instagram, they run with it. They don't do research. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, for instance, the exoxenophobia, the South Africa and Nigeria thing. A lot of the pictures and videos that were showing were not even from what was happening. But it was actually all. It's not good. It's happened, but it wasn't related to the flipping riots. So it's like people. I just feel like I don't know how we're gonna do it, but
I think what what that hits on is the power of media. You know what I mean? And it kind of brings into your point that there's now more of a platform for it to be addressed, and not necessarily. I won't even say I could say there's now more of a platform for it to be seen, because in the last 5 years more so, I feel like everything hits the news. Everything hits the news, and as long as you can see it, like Lucas is saying, you can address it.
Does everything hit the news though?
I was
Not
gonna argue
everything.
that as well.
Take that with a pinch of salt. We're not saying everything, but
Because
a
I
lot
feel
of
the
stuff
media-
hits the news, innit? Once it hits the news, there's very trivial things like this whole the Vardy statement. Our black guy follows.
But that's not
I'm
really
so
the
scared.
news though.
But no, it hits the media.
Yeah.
News is anything that
Yeah.
you understand.
Let's even use that article as an example. Rebecca Vardy tweets, Colleen Rooney tweets about fucking this. Remember, this is a footballer's wife. She tweets about another one that's, sent a dirty washing to the fucking sun. Everybody knows about it. We don't need to find it. Everybody knows about it. We're now, what, 10, 11 days into Black History? Why?
I've been educating my son on Black History, boy.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's
I think now,
And,
I get what you're saying as well. Because the
personally
pride
don't
thing,
think
especially.
I would need to even educate my son in Black History. Like, bruv, if
You're gonna
you're
need
born in a Nigerian household,
You're gonna need
bruv, I lived through Black History, bro. Like, they told me my heritage. They told me who was the chief, who was the king, who's the Oni of Ife, who's this, who's that. I don't know, maybe just how my parents just brought me up. Like bro, you have to know you. I know my Muslim name. I know my African name. Do you get what I'm saying? I know everything to do with what makes me Nigerian. Do you get what I'm saying? Or you're a bad man.
But again, you see, maybe, like I said, maybe not first, maybe second generation, came from the lands. It's not like 6-7 generations of yes massa teaching you your history. Do you get what I'm saying? It's still history that's still very fresh. They've still, it's stuff that they lived, some of them. They lived it. Like, my dad's telling me stories. And I'm like, God damn. Like, is that how you live? Like, my dad was part of that whole coming to England. He studied in Yugoslavia, former Yugoslavia. Like, he was one of the first black people to touch English soil and study his course. Do you get what I'm saying? So my parents, like you're saying, like that's the slight difference there, in the sense that there is that direct lineage and direct passing on of information. There's stuff that my dad tells me about back home that I would never find out in any school.
And I think that's
or I wouldn't even know where to go and source it.
I think that's the confusing part for us, because if the Americans have history to trace. Like,
they don't, you know.
But that's the thing, they do.
Wiped out.
Because they have that black history that we're studying now. That whole, the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther's, the Rosa Parks's, they actually have that history. And that's why they have their community. That's why they have that fist. Do you get what I'm saying?
And on that note, people, Black History Month, if you're of black origin, go and check out your roots, man. Find out where you're from, find out where your ancestors, so that you can impart that knowledge onto future generations to come. I've been one of your hosts, Frankie Boy Jones.
And Lily Rose.
I'm DJ.
I'm Lucas Walker.
Our lovely guest,
Monty.
Thank you for joining us.
Peace. Tune in next week for more Let's Be Frank with your hosts, Frank Jones, Lucas Walker, DJ, and the lovely Lily Rose. Follow us on Instagram at Let's Be Frank Podcast.
I'm about to talk my shit. Huh?